Have you ever looked at another person's splat post and thought, gee, I wish I could draw like that? That's also pretty fresh. Well, today you're in luck. I'm not that great of an artist, admittedly, but I wanted to make a tutorial based on how to draw splat posts. Because some of these are just outright amazing, right? Just fantastic. Others are also amazing. Wow. I'm looking for an example of one that isn't really all that well drawn. Alright, see this one? This one's not the best well-drawn one. It's still alright. We got Pearl Lumi. Oh boy. You managed to splat it out with stuck and out of ink. Yeah, you really earned that squid bag, buddy. We've got Left Shark Fry. We've got this ink mint. Nah, ink base. Oh, we got people just doing some stuff here. Man, there's all sorts of stuff here. Look at Nyan Cat here. The art community, don't look up Germa, you will find Germa. True that. Nice dab emote. How about you chill the heck out, but listen to Tiny the Apex Twins selected ambient walks. Oh boy. A lot of memes. A lot of memes. There's some sketchy looking art here. By sketchy, I don't mean, you know, sus. I mean sketchy as in people just sketch stuff down. What's important is that we failed as a team and that nothing is ever my fault. Right, I'm just running through. Look at, yes, slay, mama, oh, she eaten. Does Fry have that? I think, hang on a second. Fry, I don't think she has the shark tooth earrings on that ear. I think that's only Shiver. I don't ink anything until I hear a booyah back. Hug a base ink, home base inker today. Here's an example of what I wanted to find. Took a while to find one. Someone that isn't like drawing all that well, but that's fine. I mean, we also got this. I can choose water when it kills us. Yeah, there's another Splatfest coming. Happy Friday. Aw. I guess you must have that. The new big man. Little Torchic. We've also got this. Dud Real. Look at that. Yep, simple text stuff is also just fine, right? The only wrong splat posts are the ones that will probably get you banned from the server, so don't do that. Oh my god, there's no Splatoon. Yeah. Yeah, alright, I need to check. Keep being awesome. Alright. So I know how this person did it because I saw how, on one of the Reddit posts, they drew this in Clip Studio Pro, which I have, and then they copied it over pixel for pixel. Now, it was either using an Arduino little tiny PC or they did it manually. Now, if they did it manually, holy smokes, keep being awesome. But if they did it with an Arduino, I don't do that. That's not how I roll. I'm not... Arduinos are... I'm not going to call it cheating. That's a little unfair. What it basically is a little computer that pretends to be a Pro controller. And what it will do is that it will... Oh! I didn't realize I could hit that button. If I hit ZL, it swaps over to say... the 100K Hot Lantis Club, 50 Turf War wins, and Ruler of Splatfest achieved. That's what those little badges stand for. Neat. Oh, it's down there in the lower right corner the entire time. I could have just hit that. Of course, I can also... Not for sale. Oh, I can order these, but that's something completely separate. No Splatoween. Also got... Let's see what you got. The art community in this game is amazing. This is a hero shot made with far richer natural materials than a regular splatter shot, you know. That's pretty fresh. I mark things fresh because I like them. All right, I need to check. Yep, she actually does have little shark eel teeth on her ear there. I wonder if Senpai will notice me. Of course, I know they'll notice me right about here. Yep. Hi, girls. And big man. All right. So, today I want to spend some time doing a little bit of a tutorial on how to do splat posting. Because it's not particularly straightforward, but it all starts off with this red mailbox right over here. And as soon as I hit that, I click post. Hold up. We got to take care of something first. So when I hit this button, it is going to show off what I've done so far, and I don't want to do that yet. Instead, let's talk about a general art process, right? My camera's covering up a little bit of the instruction manuals, but that's fine. Today, I want to finish off this little drawing that I started off. If you couldn't tell, Halloween is coming up, and if you couldn't quite tell what this is referencing, you will soon enough. I absolutely guarantee it. So the first thing to note is that the art drawing here, it's on a 320 pixel by 180 pixel tall rectangle. And each little pixel can be black or white. I'm probably off on the exact resolution, but is tiny. Is a tiny little image. The good news is that if you take the Switch out of the dock and you can draw on it with a stylus, which is what I personally use, that makes this a lot simpler. I would recommend anybody who wants to do like super serious kind of drawings. Like I said earlier, I said the Arduino, which is like more programming style. I'm not going to discount that. If that's the way you do it, great. There have been some pretty good stuff too. But for me personally, I like using a stylus, and I also have a screen protector on my Switch. So that way I don't scratch it up too much, right? Screen protector, you should have that anyways. So the first thing to note is blocking. That is essentially putting in all the rough elements of what you want your image to look like. And that's what I've got here. I've got some rough sketchings of what appeared to be an Inkling in shock, an axe, and the second panel with what appears to be an enemy just there, right? It'll make sense. Trust me. Don't worry. I will shine a light on that later. And this is how I go about first on my personal step. This is going to be a tutorial basically on how I do this. There's more than one way of doing art, and there's no really wrong way of doing it other than tracing and claiming it as your own, or using AI generative art and claiming that you made it yourself. I'm sorry. That's a whole other discussion I don't want to get into today. But doing this way with like just rough shapes and, you know, rough silhouettes and all that, to make sure you get the rough idea in. Because you have such a limited space to work with, you don't want to get all the details in first and then realize, I got to move something. Now I have to redraw everything. Because art posts are in a single layer, and that is painful. It's just how it works. Apparently, this is how it worked with the Miiverse as well. And you saw that some people, through this limitation, can still draw some amazing stuff, right? So the first step is blocking. Right, that is the absolute first step, is to get the rough idea down. Because right here you will see that I have both the axe, the Inkling, the enemy in the second panel, and also a little box down there to the lower right. That's where I'm going to have my signature. So then next up is how I go about actually doing things. There's a button to zoom in. I will show the controls later just to make sure everything. But I will zoom in and then start erasing like the main parts and start putting in details. So right now I got to this point. You see the Inkling is a little shocked there. I might change the expression a little bit when we get into it. I will, go over how I do that. And at this point, I realized that, the axe is a little too close. So just erase it and move it off the little back. Throw in a little extra detail. The extra detail on the door. There's probably going to be some more stuff in there later. I think I'm going to add the words like Happy Halloween in here somewhere because it's Halloween related. And then I start working on the enemy. I just erased most everything that I had, and I was like, hang on, this isn't quite working. What isn't working? So I started drawing the absolute figure. And I can tell right now the face on that is wrong. I will get to fixing that today, and I will show how I would go about fixing that. There are some mistakes I've left here on purpose that, now you get the reference? Now you get the reference. Here's Johnny. So, with the little fly fish clearly on the right side there, what I wanted to do was make sure that it looked right. So on the first step, I drew just a rough shapes of where he's going to be. I don't want to put in all the details yet because you see that little V shape there? I need to erase outside of that for reasons because it is supposed to be a door that he is busting through. You're not a horror movie buff? That's totally fine. I haven't even seen The Shining myself, but I know this scene. So right now, this is what the drawing is going to look like. If I hit back button again, back to Splatoon 3. There we go. So here we are with where everything is. Now let's go over what the controls do, and I'm going to move my camera down to the... Okay, so if I hit minus, it is going to save and quit. That is all that does. So your current progress is just saved. It is not posted anywhere. It's not going to do any good. So I'm going to move this down to the lower left. Will that work? That works. But it works pretty good. It might cover like a handful of pixels in that direction, but that's fine. So from left to right, we have the left stick. If I click that in, it erases everything. I don't want to do that today. But that's in case you want to make a new splat post and you just don't want to use any other stuff. So the ZL button, let me just draw a little something here. Going from left to right. The ZL button is your undo. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I put in 5 little dots there. If I hit ZL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Up to 5 times, it will let me erase something. Any more than that, and if you need more than 5, just erase and do what you want. ZR will redo what you just did. You don't want that. The X button will zoom in. So that way, this is how you get all the crazy details in here. And this is how you put in other pixels. Yep, so that way it's not just drawing at this level. You can actually go in and start doing some detail work. I'm using the right stick to move around. I can use my left stick to move the cursor, but more importantly, I can use the D-pad on my controller to move it 1 pixel at a time. This is key for getting the really good details in. In fact, what I might do right now is actually make it look like there's a better eyebrow here. If I hold down the B button, so that way it looks a little more frightened. Right, let's put that in there. Yep, pixel thing is very good. All right, so if I zoom out, yep, a little more defined to the eyebrow. All right, so now we get to the section that has what looks like an eraser and a pencil. That's like a white eraser and a black on black and a black pencil on white. That is how you draw. If I hit A, it draws. And if I hit B, it erases and it erases. However, erasing could also mean that I am painting an area in white, or no, in titanium white. It's going to be very useful to separate this axe from the rest of the thing. Now, if I hit the left bumper, it doesn't do anything because I can adjust the size. I'm going to zoom in for this. So, at minimum, this section that is currently highlighted in the green, it is 1 pixel tall. It's a 1 pixel little box. If I move it over, it's now a 5 pixel tall thing, I think. Let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It now becomes a 5 pixel circle. So that's pretty useful if you want to get some mid-level detail. And if I move over here, this becomes a 9 pixel circle. So that is how you get sizes. And of course, B always erases. So that's how you get that done. If I hit the Y button, if way over there to the right, you see that weird plus-like signal? If I hit Y button, it turns this into a vertical post. I did not mean to hit that button. Because sometimes in Splatoon 3, you will have posts that are posted vertically. Sometimes they're actually horizontal stuff. So this is how you can zoom out to that, see how that looks that way. If I hit Y again, it does that. I know that some people, when they draw, they will use the thing out of... They will grab the switch, and they will physically turn it rather than using the Y to do that. This is for if you have it in dock mode. I'm not going to be dealing with that today because what I am doing currently is strictly horizontal and very much Halloween. So, with that out of the way, we got, this is like my first time ever doing a tutorial, so it's probably going to be super rough. And I'm sure there are going to be future tutorials on how to draw an inkling compared to an octling, because there are differences between that. But I'm going to erase this a little bit, because what I want to talk about next are references. References are absolutely key on getting your artwork to be, from okay to, that's, yeah, that's fresh. If you want to see more of that style of art, you mark it fresh. I already marked those fresh. So what I'm going to do right now is step inside the Grisco facility. Just real quick. We're going to walk in here. Alright, so what I clearly have been drawing is this look right here, right? So, let's take a nice photo. Let's bring the camera as close as possible to me. And I want to start a shift. Also, he's green. Yep, I like the green. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take a picture. That's not the picture button. That's the picture button. Alright, let me just check to see how well that looks. Alright, there we go. That should be good enough for what I'm about to do. Right? So at this point, there's a lot of background stuff I couldn't get. I want to zoom in mostly on my character wearing this outfit. So I need to try and emulate that as much as possible. Oh, and also, one other little guy I need to find, and he's a little guy, and he's always around somewhere. Where is Small Fry? Because Small Fry is out here in the plaza, but it's completely random where he shows up. Alright, so he's not here. Where is Small Fry? You better not be on top of the sign again. No, he's not on top of that. That is dangerous! Get down from there! Where is Small Fry? He hides in like 9 or so separate places. I wanted to try and get a nice good close-up of him. But if I can't, I do have a backup photo. In fact, yeah, I'm not spotting him right off the bat. Sometimes he's here, other times he's... I need the big spiel. Yes, we all need the big spiel. Yeah, Nintendo announced that they were making a life-sized spiel plushie, and it is monstrous. Jojo Martin, join us, Thrive. All right, let me check up here. Oh, Small Fry, where'd you go? I need you for a reference. Okay, what is with this? Why exactly is this face from Nick Jr. just female? Alright. Vote Squid 13. How can you choose water? Happy little cat thing. Alright. Oh, well, oh, it won't let me jump down there. Yeah, it's kind of weird that this stairwell's even here, by the way. It's nice that it's here to get away from all the noise, I guess. Oh, I see. It'll let me jump over that. Alright. I am not finding Small Fry easily. Man, he is hiding. How do y'all do these? I'm showing you right now. See, you don't even need to be a really famous drawer or anything to get a splat post in. You can just draw in text. And if it's funny, people will upvote it. I'm sorry, what is that? This is Turf War. Does it look like the face of Mercy? Eat the base. Just a little chocobo. Alright. Yeah, I am not seeing Little Bunny anywhere. Wait. Oh, no. Nope, that's a traffic light. Man. Where is he? Alright, no matter. I do have another photo. I'll just have to, like, sift through and find it. Here he is. There we go. Me and Octoling Girl from Splatoon 2 and a very knocked out buddy. Yep, that is good enough for what I want to do. For fixing the face. Alright. So we're going to go back into the splat post. Yep, aw, it's so cute. First and foremost, let's take a look at the vest here. So this part is, when I was drawing this at night, taking photographs, I'm like, I'm not sure how this vest looks. So what I'm going to do is fill this in with black, because some people think that, oh, you start with white and you always draw on with black. Not necessarily so. Sometimes you actually want to start with black and then draw with white. That is a very key component to doing this style of art. So if I take a look back at that photograph that I was doing... That's not the right photograph. That's me dabbing with Marie at the recent Splatfest. Oh, where'd it go? 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 Here we go. All right. So we got a nice high collar on me, and there is the buckles for the vest. They come down to a V. All right. So I got an idea to do this. And also, it's probably important to note this. It doesn't need to be pixel perfect. People get the general gist of how it works. You don't necessarily need to make sure it's absolutely perfect. Yep, I got the green suit. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to erase this. Yep, pixel by pixel. Now, for those of you who want art to take, less time, I got some bad news for you. I got some real bad news for you. All right. Using the control stick to move things around. All right. So what I'm going to do is first trace in where the line is going to be for that low-cut V. Yep, that'll do it. Then fixing up the pixels one by one. Alright, we do have little buckles up here, so I'm going to then add in those little buckles that I saw there. Right about here. Now, there are some people that... Oh, yeah, art is anything but fast. There are some people who, like I said, they draw with... Clip Studio, and then they'll copy it over either pixel by pixel or not. I don't like doing that, at least for Splatoon posting, because it's Splatoon. You don't need to go too crazy. There was a line that was about here, using the D-pad to get that in there, a little thick. Okay, there we go. So, when it comes down to line thickness, like I said, this is a 1 pixel line, and this is a 5 pixel line. If you want something in between, What you can do is undo that. You know, use 1 pixel to get it slightly thicker. Another way of doing it, may as well demonstrate this, is that I can put in this line and then use the eraser to kind of get a line thickness thing going on there. So that way, you know, this kind of mimics how like an ink brush would work, right? So you got that thick part on one side, thin part on the other. It's a lot easier to do with a stylus, I will admit that. I'm just doing this with my controller because I'm at the point where it's like I'm using the D-pad mostly anyways. Alright, I'm going to erase this section. And we're going to throw in a little buckle over here. Trying to keep in mind of what the shape of that buckle ought to be. Which is kind of like that. This needs to be up a little more. Never be afraid to erase and retry again, right? There are some people who think you need to get it to be absolutely perfect the first time. No, no, no. Art is not about perfection. It's about the journey and about coming up with something. If I zoom out here, double check with my sauce. It's this album. Yep, alright, nice high buckles, comes down to a V. There's that little waistband in the center there. But it's also missing the high collar. So, do I want to have that high collar? That's the big question. Probably should. So what I'm going to do is erase the chin a little bit. I don't need to do too much, just to get the idea of the high collar in here. I'm going to do this. That's pretty good. We're going to erase this. Whoop, That, and that, and that. Picking that up. Alright. There we go. Let's zoom. That's not the zoom out button. That doesn't look quite right. Oh, I think I know why. It's because this section needs to be very much in the dark. Because I want the shading to work a little, you know, stark shading going on here. And in fact, I can even do that. Then start erasing a couple things. Just so that way I don't lose the mouth to the collar. Alright, yeah, that's the life preserver in the background, this little shape here. Alright, so now I need to figure out shading. Just a little bit, at least with different colors. So let me use this little section up here to demonstrate. So I'm going to create a little box here. This little square pixel that is going to be 7 by 7. Yeah, I think it's, hang on, no way, I don't want 7 by 7, I want 4 by 4 for this. Hang on. So to make this easier for myself, we have minor technical difficulties. Please stand by. All right, we got one square there. Nope, that's still not the button. And we'll do this. All right, let me get this 4 square pixels here. Erase that. Erase that. Oh, it's a little too far. Hang on. Alright. So when it comes down to color in a strictly black and white thing, if I zoom out, these are 4 black dots. What I can do to, you know, change this up, so this is going to be full black right here. Right? We're going to put a little F for full here. This is going to be, this section, half. And then this over here is going to be no black, as in a perfectly white square. And now it's already white, so that saves me some time. So there are ways of getting a halftone in, and there are multiple ways. The most common one is to get this, the dithering crosshatch look here. Hang on. That goes there, that goes here, that goes there. All right, there we go. Let me just erase that. Alright, so we got a little halftone here, right? So now if I zoom out a little bit, at this point it definitely does look like a checker, but if you were to shrink that down even more, it would kind of look like a mid-gray color. So in between all of these, what we can do, for this one, we can have, we can take out half of those checker pieces, so that way we get a little 4x4 square that looks like that. I personally, I mean, this is a legitimate way of doing things, but what instead I can do is offset that just ever so slightly, so that way it looks a little more aesthetically pleasing going this way. If I want to do this like, you know, like a paint strip or whatever, I should do that instead. This would actually be a little easier. Yep, same thing over here. So, except now, instead of these black dots being like that, in fact, let me just because I'm a little neurotic about this. Alright. So now instead I shall have the white dots be the... Oh, hang on, that wasn't quite right. Doing that. Alright. So now you see that we have 100%, 75, 50, 25, and 0. We have basically 5 little colors that we can deal with. And on an even grander scale, you can like add dots, remove dots, whatever. This is one way of doing a sort of shading and coloring look, right? So this is to really help out, like, okay. So instead of thinking in terms of, I need to shade everything, use these first and foremost to differentiate color, and shading you can deal at another time, right? Part of me wants to put like a 3-4 here and a 1-4 here, but no, you get the idea. It's full black, half black, no black, and then, you know, the in-between of all those. So this will make drawings a lot more interesting when you do that. All right, so with that in mind, I'm going to take a look at the vest here. So I definitely want my Inkling here to have like a straight white face, but the hair can be, let's see, I think I should want that hair to be, let's start with half black. Now, this is the part where it's like, oh man, I'm going to have to do this for hours. You know, because it does take a while to, you know, draw all of this, right? Actually, come to think of it, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the half shading there. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep that there. I need to keep in mind, like, yeah, pixel by pixel. So let's say I want this helmet to be 50-50. But instead of doing this really annoying up, down, this, what instead I'm going to do are horizontal lines. This will get the same 50-50 look. It's going to look a little different. People will look at it and think like, oh yeah, it's totally a different way to do it 50-50. But it's a lot easier on my hands. You got to know when to use it and when not to use it. And also be consistent with it, because like this section over here, I am offsetting it on purpose because that's technically a separate part of the helmet. There we go. Gonna do that, and that. All right, keep the light where it is. I need to shove that off. Let's zoom out, see how that looks. That looks all right. So now we get to down here, and I believe the suit, you know what, I'm going to use vertical lines for the suit. See if that works. And if it doesn't work, I can always just erase and try again. Let me... Yeah, it's a lot easier if you want like a pure halftone to do vertical horizontal. Nah, that does not look right at all. And it's okay if you think like, nah, it doesn't look right, so you got to go back and erase it. I'm not going to use undo because I know I did this more than a handful of times. And quite frankly, it's a lot easier to just redraw. Back to the 1 pixel. There we go. Got to fix this line. That's fine. Oh, right. That's the buckle. All right. So I think I'll keep the suit looking the same way. All right, that's where this is going to be. Oh, hold on, making a lot of mistakes. Let me zoom in here. It's going to be nice and thick here. We're going to have this be like the rest of the vest. Okay, zoom out, but I definitely want this inner tube to be its own separate color, right? So this one, I'm going to do the ever so painful checkerboard. Because I look at this space and I was like, it's not that bad. I mean, art is definitely a little tedious, time-consuming, but it should also be fun. And this particular area isn't that large to do the little checkerboard pattern with if I actually get the correct checkerboard pattern to work. Uh-oh. There we go. 2, 3, 5. In fact, what I'm going to do here is keep in mind a little bit of shading. Because things in the background will probably look a little darker. So now I'm going to kind of vary up. Yep, use that 50%, rather 25% style look there. Same thing over here, trying to keep up that. There we go. If I zoom out, oh, hang on, not quite yet. I'm missing a couple pixels. This one and that one. It's not the zoom up, but there we go. So it's looking a little better, right? We got the helmet on, the axe here. Let me just clean up the axe over here. This is like a chunk of wood flying out from the axe. Let me... Actually, you know what? I think it looks better without it. All right. Here we go. We can erase that. Yeah, this looks very flat right now. I definitely want to make some part of this look a little different. Do I put spots in there like this? No, 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 I'm not doing that. Alright, thank goodness for undo. What if I actually just did the horizontal line thing again for this section? And sometimes it's okay to not have a perfectly clear vision of how to do this. Sometimes you gotta go in there and just mess around with it until it looks right. Any artist will probably tell you that they've come across this scenario multiple times. That they can't quite seem to figure it out. So rather than sit there and try and figure out, you know, the more engineering way of doing it, just throw whatever you can at the wall, and if it works, fine. If not, try it again. It's this, this. We got a couple lines here. Nice. Hope you enjoy the music of whatever shop is nearby. Alright, zoom out. Still doesn't quite look right. What if instead I just turn this into the 25% color? So to do that, I need to start doing this. Oh, hang on. A little better. This is definitely a little tedious, not gonna lie. That's fine. It's all in the name of good art. So this goes here, that goes there. So while we're waiting here, this morning I was woken up by my mother butt dialing me, which could have been like a really bad scenario depending on the activity, but no, it's totally fine. I just got woken up at like 8 o'clock in the morning with my phone just blaring at me like, oh no, what's up, Mom? And on the other side of the phone, I'm just hearing garbled noise for some reason. I'm like, Mom, what's going on? Is something bad happening? And no, nothing bad was happening. All right. Fine. I don't know. Let me just try and call you back. So I went to call her back twice. She never answered. So I sent her a text message. I'm like, did you try calling me earlier? And her answer was no. Oh, okay. Turns out that she butt dialed me, not just from anywhere. She was butt dialing me from her mission trip in Kenya. So no wonder she had no idea, because she was so busy taking pictures of elephants and rhinos at the time, or helping out the poor people who live there. Not, you know, living in Africa is a bad idea. It's just, you know, the poor actual. Yeah. So she's right now in Africa taking, with a mission trip and all that. It's good for her. But I'm sitting here wondering, like, man, Dad is going to have a heart attack when he sees the bill from however long that butt dial lasted. Because I don't think it's cheap to call from Kenya to here. Oh, needed this one here. Got this one here. There we go. We're almost done with this little section. It's definitely a test of patience, art is. And I do like, rather than having a pure grid look with this, I like having it off-center just a little bit. It looks a little nicer to me. Yep, it definitely looks pretty good, right? I mean, it's also going to be one of those things where I'll take a look at it again. I'll be like, nah, I'm not so sure about it. Alright, that goes here, that goes here. Alright, let's zoom out. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it'll look better with some actual shading on there. Let's throw down, you know, let's start throwing down some shading. So when it comes down to shading, it's pretty much think about where the light is coming from. It doesn't have to make sense sometimes. So from this section, I'm going to have, the focus is going to be on this axe here. So even though this is technically like a headlamp, I'm going to have the light coming in from this direction, shining over on this fellow here. On the poor, scared, crapless inkling. And maybe on a future tutorial, I'll do like an inkling versus octoling thing. Because I've always drawn inklings when doing my splat posts, never octolings. So when it comes to shading, you got to think, all right, so this line here is going to be a little thicker because it's going to be more in the background. So we'll just fill that in. And you don't necessarily need to go in here and have like perfect shading. Sometimes you don't want shading. Yep. I just like going in here and thinking like, all right, so this section here needs a little bit more. And considering this is horror, I'm going to think of really stark black shadows. So we're going to ink, not ink. We're going to take this little section here. We're going to thicken this line up. Yeah, so that way we get like a horror vibe of like really stark lighting, right? It's when it comes down to horror lighting, it's almost like bright white and dark behind, or it's like puts more focus on like the monster and the environment. So just thickening these up will give stark contrast. And sometimes you don't want this style of inking. Sometimes you want a more, yep, super drama contrast. Exactly, Clueless. All right. Now, normally I would like show like, oh, here's how to draw the eye and the pupils. But considering this is a purely black and white picture, and there's only so much room that I drop my controller while reaching for my hand rag because I'm starting to sweat a little bit because, oh boy, it is winter. I don't have the fan on. But, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, it's winter. I don't have the fan on. But that's fine. All right. Here we go. Yeah, all right. Hand rag is going to be there. All right. What was I going? All right. Let's take this moment. If the light's going to be hitting here, this section could actually stand to be just a tiny bit lighter as well, but not by much. This headlamp I'll leave alone, and I'm going to do that. Switch over to a larger brush, so that way I save myself some time. Just a little bit. And then switch over to a smaller brush to fill in the pieces over there, right? Now, the big question is, do I want to have like a background shadow? That might be something I do. Let me just throw this in here. I think I'll leave the top of this inner tube alone. Maybe just thicken it ever so slightly. There's that. I'm going to zoom in here. So the glove here in the background, I'll just give it a little thickness here. Down with the thickness. All right, and I believe... let's see. Don't think I'm going to be messing with this style of the back too much. Let me just do that. All right, this needs... All right, this buckle needs to get a lot darker. Let me just... There we we go to that one. Smaller for this one because it's over here. Put like one extra pixel there. The vest I will then give a little bit of light. Yeah. Just this. Just a tiny bit of light here. Yeah, kind of just going in here and adding where I need it to be. But also, since it is a vest, this is going to be a little shaded because of that. Alright, zoom out. Oh, it's looking pretty dang good. It's looking pretty dang good. Kind of feels like, though, this is curving incorrectly. Like, the V isn't really being part of a V here. So I'm just going to edit the pixels one bit at a time until it looks about right. Just do that. That looks a little better. Alright, I'm going to... Whatever's down here, I think it's like the legs. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Then let's thicken up this area over here a little bit. And erase this a little bit. Alright. Get rid of that. Okay. I think in general, this is almost done. I want to add in... You know what? Let's take a look. I don't know if I actually want to do this, but I want to try to see what it looks like if I give like a really stark shadow over here. So what I'm going to do is carefully get like a pseudo trace of what's over here. Let me just start off with this little section up here. Alright, so this comes down to a point, so... Yeah, let me just... To save myself some time, quote-unquote, rather than doing this whole entire thing, then looking back and be like, nah, it's not enough. What if I did this tiny little section? And then I'll determine for myself, does it look right or not? I think that actually helps. If I did, like, this whole section like that... What's up with this line here? I don't recall... Oh, right. This is the glove. Okay, I'm like... Wait, I almost lost that. As long as I keep that in mind, I think it looks right. Alright, so then we have, like, the shadow here. We got like, a little bit of a shadow shape over here. Nothing too crazy, right? I'm going to go ahead here and... zoom in on this section. I do want to make sure that these pixels don't quite blend into each other that well, because then you'll lose the actual shape of whatever it is you're trying to do. So I like having a nice little, at least a 1 pixel buffer between all of that, right? And this is something I literally just decided on the fly to do. I didn't actually plan on making a really crazy, dramatic shadow thing going on here. Alright, what this needs to be is closer down this way. Alright. I kind of feel that it right here is that it's, the glove here kind of loses its shape a little bit. So to fix that, I am going to make the thumb a little more obvious. And I think that section is almost done. Do I want to do anything to the axe? You know, I should do something to the axe. Because they normally have a red hand, like a red face. So what I'm going to do here is instead of having it be once every 1 pixel over, I'm adding 2 pixels to it. So that way, 1, it saves me a little time. And 2, it's almost like it's own shade thing. Nope, gotta move that down. Nope, not that. Nope, not that close. There we go. 1, 2, 3. right here. 1, 2, 3. Alright. If I zoom out, looking at all of this, this needs a little extra shading over here, right? I got the dramatic shadow on that side, but I need the dramatic shadow over here. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of trying to make it look absolutely perfect, I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to go in and erase what I don't need. Right? Just another way of thinking about it, right? Because you never want to find yourself in a situation where you only think in one term. Sometimes you want to draw white on black, other times you draw black on white. And knowing when to use what depends on what situation you're in, how easy it's going to be implemented. It almost feels like it's a little too much. What if I... Oh, yeah, because the hand here is going to be, let's say, grasping the wall. The shadow should be touching it, but only just. And also, this hand almost looks a little ruined. Let me just edit that in a little bit. I did that. Actually, no. What it does need to happen is... Alright. That... I'm a little indecisive on, like, how to make that work. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, am I looking at it? Oh. Why does my rag constantly do that? I think that section is going to be fine. All right. Now let's take a look at this section over here. First and foremost, this face is wrong. Let me just load up that picture again for reference's sake. Which one was it? Which one was it? Here we go. So you'll notice little sleeping buddy there. Aw, he's so cute. Small fry only have one tooth at the very bottom, and their mouth is like a beak. Meanwhile, if I were to go back to what I've drawn, I have not done either of that. This is just me quickly summing things in here. So let's go ahead and erase that. And for those of you who don't have a stylus, I mean, at this point, you probably should. So we have the little beak thing here. Drawing with a controller, I've done it before on my stream during the original Splatfest. The one that started off with rock, paper, and scissors. All right, I'm going to have this be here. Well, you had a Pokemon attached to the squiddly. Oh. Yeah. So I am going to do this. Alright, try and get this to work. So this I want to be like the crook of the beak. And then from here, have this go down. I'll have it look a little incorrect, just so people know. This isn't quite like perspective correct. So let's throw in a little nostril right over here. Move this. Try and get a beak shape in here. And of course, the lone tooth. Because technically what I'm drawing here is something called a fly fish. And fly fish in the game are... The punchline being that this is the enemy you do not want to have show up in Salmon Run. Literally everyone hates these guys. And rightfully so. They are annoying. So to make this look better... There we go. Da-da-da. Make this look more like a tooth. In fact, what I'm going to do is like offset this tooth a little bit so it's like facing outward. And then put the beak into here. And now I'm going to fill this in with black. Just to help speed things up along. Alright, that looks pretty... That looks a much better looking beak, right? But here's the thing. Fly fish are inside of a bubble. So, I need to be able to, I need to get this thing to look like that it's inside of a glass sphere of some sort. And that is going to be a little tricky. Because I'm only dealing with a couple of colors. Namely black and white. And that's it. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that a bit more. So from here, this is going to be really tricky. So what I'm going to do is think of how does a glass sphere work. Now, this is a little more advanced. Something that I'm probably not even qualified to talk about. I'm qualified to talk about like what button pushes what, but not really how to draw this. So at this point, a glass sphere, when you think of it, the edges are going to be like really thick so you can't see through them. But the intersection is going to be a lot clearer. So what I'm going to do here is kind of mimic that as best I can. And rather than having a set bunch of anything, I'm going to have these dots just randomly strewn about. Sometimes random is the correct answer. You don't want everything to look completely uniform. At times. Here, 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 here. So from here, we got that bobble is going to, you know, cover up with a small fry, it looks like here. Oh, not nearly random enough. Yep, thicken that up. Yeah, just randomly strewn about dots, more or less on the outside than I am on the inside, because glass is thicker at its edges in the sphere than it is looking at it dead on. Right, and sometimes I don't actually want to throw in some dots. Like up here, I probably won't throw any because of the hair. What I will do for the hair, though, is kind of space this out so that way we get a little darker looking hair. Just a little, not by a lot. Go. Nice and perfect. Oh, yeah. I've been at this for almost to an hour. And it takes a while to draw things. There's no way around it. So there we go. Now it kind of looks a little better, right? And I might just leave it mostly like that because having something that looks perfect doesn't always look right. So now for the background. I think I want this background to be pure black. But I also need to make sure, using pixel by pixel to make sure I'm not overwriting any of my other stuff. Then we're going to go over to here. Let me shrink that down to get this one pixel here. Let me shrink this down to the level 5 one, just so that way I don't get too crazy with it. Alright, here I'm going to throw down a little bit of that. So that way it looks more like a splinter of the wood from the axe coming through. Alright. Carefully ink this. There we go. Use this to fix up some of my mistakes just a little bit. Alright, I'm going to extend the body just a little bit up to here. Go. Let's throw that little bit right there. There we go. Alright, that looks like it's separating there. Let's just fill this in. There we go. A nice stark contrast from everything else. So these ice boxes here, these are the ice boxes that have a different coloration, at least for the lids, if I recall. Do I really want to load up a salmon run tutorial just to see what these things look like? Probably not. What I will do is just throw down just a couple lines here. Yep, varying line length here is also a way of varying how much color it is. You don't always have to do the... Oh, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you don't always have to do like cross-hatching in order to get something to look quote-unquote right. Sometimes you just want to get the rough idea across, and that's mostly what splat posting is. Just get a rough idea across. There are some people who do amazingly detailed work, and most of the time people aren't going to notice your mistakes. This is one thing that I have a problem with as an artist. I look at them like, oh man, I forgot to do that. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to get rid of this weird little white spot here. Oh, but also the glass bauble here. The lighting, what if I just did this to like emulate what the light would look like? So we got like this little bit of everything here. I'm holding down the same button and doing this pixel by pixel because if I don't like it, no, not there. Undo. There we go. I want that to be over like across the hair or something. Yep, so that way we get kind of like the shininess of the glass kind of overlooking everything. What if I just poked a little bit into the eye? Just a little bit. Does it get the idea across? Almost. What if I like threw this in? Or what if, rather, it's so shiny you can only like see just a tiny bit of him through it, right? Yeah, that looks good. That looks pretty good. Like, you know, a little bit over here to demonstrate the hair, but, you know, you can't quite see it because it's a little too glary. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks all right. Okay, now I want to throw in something here. I want to throw in Happy Splatoween. Also, I need to throw in my signature down here, so I'm going to... Nope, that was not the right button. I'm going to erase this section here from a signature down to that lower right corner, because it's very important to sign your work as an artist. That way, if anyone wants to find you, they can. In fact, let me actually... 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And just counting out here, kind of roughly where these lines ought to be. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4. They're spaced 4 apart. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like one line here ought to do it. Alright, and with that, let me throw down... This I don't want to have that Stark style bit of shading that I did for my Inkling who's just scared crapless. I'm instead just going to do a small little bit of shading over here. Might extend it over here because cylindrical bodies just do this. Oh, Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be good enough. Also, why don't I delete this section just a little bit so that way it's like the lighting of it. Kind of the same thing here. I just get rid of this line entirely. Yep, just slowly messing around with it until I'm happy with it. What I could do is a little bit of crosshatch. No. Crosshatch. I don't like the look that crosshatching does mostly. It's just not a me thing. And if you're worried about like how to get your style into here, don't worry about style at all. Your style will come from all the things, like all the little mistakes you make. And it's one of those things where don't sweat it. You will find your style in time, whether it be anime style or my personal style is kind of cartoonish. Just as a little cartoony. I'm sure someone else will be able to look at it and say like, oh, your style reminds me of this particular artist. And there are some artists that I look at, I'm like, yeah, my work is very similar to this. This is almost Dr. Seuss-like. Especially with the big bug eye little dude there. this is looking really good. I need a line, like, right here. Yep, I'm going to leave the lids of those alone. So now for the tricky part. I did not actually make room for Happy Splatoween. So now when it comes down to writing in Splatoon, there are the people who, like, try doing this. In fact, I'm not sure if I even want to. Now I'm sitting here thinking, like, do I even need Happy Splatoween? Oh, hang on. Let me just redo what I just did. Alright. Or if I, like, wrote it vertically. Ooh, that could be a thing. Alright. So I'm going to zoom in here. And I'm going to start erasing parts of the door to make room for what I'm about to write. So when it comes down to writing, some people, like, try and do this with the stick. It's like, ah, goodness. I mean, I guess it's okay, but I much prefer doing a far more tedious method. And that tedious method is going pixel by pixel with this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it does look scratchy. So instead, there's a way to... Hang on. I like doing this a lot more with this. So you, like, write this down in a particular... Almost like a computer would. Like dot matrix style. This is how I normally like to write it. But of course, as soon as you zoom out, that's going to be, like, super tiny. So now the question is, like, how big do I want this font? Because I know if I go down over to here, in fact, I could probably just throw in my signature real quick down here. I'm going to pull out the 9. Let me just make sure to do it right there. All right. Oh, hang on. Do that. Thank you. So... This is a 9 tall thing. If I zoom in... Wait, that was zoomed in? Oh, okay. So this is 9 pixels tall. This should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 9 pixels tall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start writing my text. Now, at least for my signature, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I like having it be a 7 tall by 5 pixels wide, not monospace type. The reason I like doing that, so this is going to be the B. So 1, 2, and then this. 1, 2, the bottom. 2. Go. Got to do that again. Space. That's going to be black. 1, 2. Here. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. There's, hang on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that should be. Yep, that's correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Yep, this part. Okay. So then 1 space in between each of these. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's not quite where it should go. Space. 2, 3. This is like where the center is. So this is pretty much like a type font, right? Space, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3 is going to be right here at the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then yeah, trying to remember. Looks it. Yep, smile. All right, so I have to remember how to spell my name. All right, so it's E here. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3 gets right to the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Yep. All right, 1, 2. this. Is that right? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on. No, that's 1 pixel too wide. 2. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 4. Yep. I think I need to get a little... Nope. A little extra this way. Go. Make sure that actually is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. So I like using something that's 5 pixels wide by 7 pixels tall, is that it gives me enough space to make this type font that is something that is easy enough for me to remember, like, okay, this is the center, and make sure that like, all the little center bits of, like, you know, the middle of the E, the middle of the A, the middle of an F, the B's, all those letters have those things in the middle. It gives me enough room to make sure that's centered. So then, space 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 there, then there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I put the extra M there? I kind of don't like doing that. I kind of like having that. All right. So now what I'm going to do is... Alright. Make it so that way this... Alright, I have to redo that letter, which is totally fine. It's perfectly fine. It's just one tiny little letter of some sort. So then... That one, that one. That one, this one, all the way down. Not all the way down. Alright, round this section out. There we go. We have our signature there. Yep, nice stark contrast to everything else. Do I want the words Happy Splatoween here? Or I could just make this look like wood, and people would get the idea. It feels empty without it saying that, right? Happy Splat... Whoop. It just feels empty without Happy Splatoween on here. Dude. So what if we do this? Oh no, 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 no. We are not writing that. Not with a controller. So I'm going to start down here at the bottom. So now we have a 5 pixel thing. And that's going to be a little tricky to deal with. So instead, I'm going to make this a double block sort of deal. So now this is going to involve a little bit more measuring. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take out this box here. And if I scroll up, so if I want to roughly double the text size, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, hang on. Let me start counting from this section over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. This is 30 right here. So this is going to be a 30 wide box. So Splatoween is going to be S-P-L-A-T-O-W-E-E-N. It should be 10 letters long, right? Splat. Oh, yep. Yep, it is 10 letters long. So now I need to divide this into 10 sections, which this is going to involve a little bit of counting. Hello, 9 pixel, you are my greatest friend. So 9, and if I leave a pixel in between, that's going to be, yep, 10 with the space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, a little too far. There we go. All sorts of counting. So that way this font that I'm going to be making up on the fly here Alright. Alright, so it looks like this particular box is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50... Oh, hang on. Let's do this. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25... No, wait, hang on. No, it's 50. Yeah, 50 actually, because each of these is a 9-pixel wide circle, and there's a space in between them. So if I only count the top space, it's 10. So that's actually 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. This is 100 right here. So if that's 100. All right. Trying to think how to do this. Erase that. Let me just erase this line here. Because it feels like... Thinking. Right now, I'm not sure. I want there to be Happy Splataween on here, right? Or maybe I don't do it vertically. What if instead, let me just erase all this, I did it across the bottom. That might be better. Just erase all of that. There we go. So you have the word happy written over here, and then Splataween is going to be here. I think that is going to be the goal. All right. So now I'm going to go over here and write the word happy. Kind of in the style that I want. Almost in the style that I want. This is going to take a little bit. Yeah, text is going to take forever. There's no other way around it. Especially since I'm going to be writing it in a kind of scratchy style. Although, hang on. Trying to think. So, usually you want black outlined text to be legible, right? It's like white text, black outline. You can read it on literally any color. So that is what I'm going to start doing. So just start writing, just get all this black here. Avoid the artwork because I'm not sure if I want to really do this. Alright. So what if this was like a vertical happy? Hang on. Undo all that. Just think. Yeah, this is very much the process of an artist at work who has little idea what he's doing. Alright, so. Nope, not that then. Trying to write this is a little nuts. Alright, so instead what I'm going to do... Whoops, hang on. Zoom in. This is something I should have planned. Yeah, there is not going to be enough room for what I want to do that in that way. So... yeah, what if instead... Dude. This is definitely the indecisive part of me being like, I'm not sure, do I want to? Do I not want to? Let me just erase this. That way, this weird, sketchy division thing is still there. I like this weird, sketchy division thing because it's very horror-like. Horror-like, to absolutely make sure I pronounce that correctly. You know, what if I just didn't do this? What if I just made it like a really detailed door? People will get the joke that it is indeed Halloween. But I still think it needs it, though. Alright, erase this. Erase all that. Don't want to erase my signature. Being super careful with the erasing. This is so much easier with the stylus, I'll have to admit that. What if... Actually, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. So if I was to double that, so every pixel would need to be double in size. So if I were to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3, and then this is the pixel. So 1. This is going to be a lot easier for me to figure out with. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. 1, 2. If I were to zoom. So almost here. So there's, I can afford this. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1 pixel, 2 pixel, 3 pixel, 4 pixel. Oh, hang on. Wait. Is this 1 pixel tall? So then, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This don't look quite right. Oh, because it's 7. I'm an idiot. Okay, so that's up to 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Should be here. Get rid of that. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 3. And then we get to this section. Just make sure I got my math right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There we go. I'm just going to double this font, but I'm also going to add in just a little extra. It's still going to look a little robotic, but that's fine. And this is just going to take a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13, 14. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, no, wait. And then add in a little extra here. So that way it doesn't look quite as identical. There we go. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This. Now, some people don't care to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, some people are just totally happy with, you know, their weird chicken scratch. I don't like doing that because it's very illegible for me. No, wait, hang on. That isn't quite right. This needs to be up a little higher. Trying to make these identical looking peas. 1, 2, 1, 2. That looks right. Now for the Y's. So this is going to be here. 2, 3. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, very close to finishing this off. I just want to make sure I get all this to look decent. It definitely... Alright. Happy, and then... Splatoween, like, over here. I actually like this idea. Alright, so what if... Take this section. No. Needs to be lower, like here. Worst case scenario, I can always change where the, oh, easy, Wabbit. Don't want to accidentally hit the signature. Yeah, these letters I spent so long on, they need to be closer to the bottom here. C'est la vie as an artist. Alright. Let's do... Hang on. I'm going to try and make this look decent by using the D-pad. No, I need to zoom in on this. Actually, increase the size. This is definitely the difficult part of being an artist. It's like, ooh, I didn't quite plan this out. It's so good, I don't want to get rid of it. So, nope, not that button. Nope, no. All right. Move that over. Nope, not that. There's not enough room for Splatoween with that. Alright, so plan B. So rather than try and use the medium-sized brush to get this done, I'm instead going to use the... Nope, not... Okay. Nope, not that button. I'm instead going to... a slightly thicker line. Start with... Hang on. So I'm going to try and go for like a super scary look here. But I need it to be thick enough to read, but thin enough so that way I can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm going to use the 1 pixel and I'm going to trace a line first, and then I'm going to thicken it up with the D-pad. And, you know, at this point, I can also, like, fix how it looks. And also, like, put a little couple drips in there. So that way you get that spooky font, right? Nope, not that button. Alright. Let me just fix this. Let me thicken this line up. Yeah, this is very much a spur-of-the-moment decision. 'Tis the season to tear. Yup, it's the spooky season. I mean, granted, it's not like... I know some people are going to be playing games like Amnesia, The Dark Descent, or all the Resident Evils. I'm too much of a wuss for any of that. Like, the most I've ever done in terms of spooky for this channel would be... what was it? Inscription? And that was about the right amount of spooky that I can handle. Something that was more eldritch than jump scare. Alright, this L needs to curve like this. Yeah. The slow burn horror. That's why more my... Hang on, actually. Trying to get this L to look right. Almost. What if I take this? There we go. A little more of an L there. Thicken up this line a little bit. Also make this... Right, because I gotta keep in mind I gotta like shove all these letters together, and if I have this like a cool looking font, right? That apparently is like a thing for thinner on the top, thicker on the bottom. Alright, let's throw in some of those spooky dripping pixel things. Alright, there we go. Let's thicken it up. The one thing I hope is that one of my drawings shows up on Reddit. Because I'm not going to directly advertise like, hey, I made this. But it would be hilarious if, looking very Nightmare Before Christmas. That's kind of the look I'm going for. It's like, you know, it's like I said earlier, sometimes you know what you want. Other times you kind of just fool around with it until it looks right. And that's what I'm doing here. So let's add a drip here. Drip over here. One drip in the center, maybe? Alright. Yeah! That looks pretty good. I am going to slowly erase this, because I don't think I need this space over here to look like that. Let me just clear that out. Yeah, I think it's going to need to go over here. Kind of erase all this. Just, whoop, do that. Let me throw down a little bit of this. So yeah, at a certain point, this became an art tutorial and more of a, hey, watch me draw something. But at least I'm talking about my process. All right, so now we're going to make the T. Alright, there we go. And now I'm going to thicken this line up a little bit. And also, like, fix my mistakes every now and then. I kind of wish that this art program, well, it's less of an art program and more of an art/Miiverse holdover, was a little more robust. I understand why they won't, because it's a shooting game, not an art game. I do love do the art for it. All right. Let me just fill that in. Do that. All right, let's get a little drippy drip over here. A little extra over here. And now I'm going to make the O starting. Yeah. So rather than using a large... Hang on. A shooting game where you shoot ink with rollers and paintbrushes. Yeah, pretty much. That's the major focus. Alright. So to save myself some time, instead of doing a 1 pixel thickening, I can instead do a large circle in white and then a smaller circle in black and then fix what needs to be here. This is, once again, sometimes you draw white on black, other times you draw black on white. Splato. Then let's get a W over here. Now this seems to be like a big W. Not quite. Hang on. I need to keep. I have to get 4 more letters into here. So, hang on. Let me just focus. Rather than trying to get the whole W to work correctly, let me get 1 curve at a time. There we go. So sometimes you don't want to draw the whole thing and erase and draw the whole thing. Sometimes you want to focus on one aspect and get that one aspect correct, and then go on to the next one. All right, now for the big question. Do I want capital letters or do I want, like, small e's? Part of me thinks I should do small e's. A little drip there. How about, like, a drip over here? Hang on. Let me first see what, like, a big E looks like. Get this one. Oh. Then another E and then like a tiny N. Maybe. We'll see how this works. Might have to redo it because I'm running out of space. Like I said, super teeny tiny canvas size. It's only like 380 pixels tall by 180, I think, wide. I could be wrong on those numbers. Big E, little E, and an N. Hang on. I don't like... I don't really think this E needs anything dripping off of it. Yeah, the thing is, alright. Hang on. My handwriting is terrible regardless. So, yeah, I think this will actually work. Make it nice and thick. Just the way, I like it. Alright. Picking this up. Kind of just messing around with it, making sure, like, does this look correct? Because if there's going to be stuff dripping from it, like, say, here. I don't want it looking like an F too much. I want this to be, like, a very definitive E look. Let me just fill that in. Alright, there's got to be something dripping off this E, right? Just the one. And then we draw... Whoa, hang on. This needs to be a thicker line here. In fact, this whole thing needs to bend ever so slightly. Because it looks too straight. Considering, like, the rest of the font, like, there's barely any straight lines on it. Just gotta think. This is not sharp enough of an angle. That's what's wrong. Alright, I recognize that. Alright, so then I'm going to go... really make this a bow look. Come on. Come on. It's like a horrible mangling of an E. Alright. This needs to be a tad longer. That's also one of the issues. Let me just quickly fill that in. Alright. Yeah, I think I see where the issues is coming from. There we go. That looks more like an E now rather than a sad, pathetic little F. That out. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Let me just fill this one pixel in here. But I need to get rid of this. Kind of make it look like it's thinning out here. And then finally, the N. There we go. Alright. Getting pretty close to getting this part. And I'm going to try and do the same font for above all of this. This is very Burton-esque. I love it. Yeah, Tim Burton is really good when it comes to his visual style. I've seen some clips online of someone made a silent film of Tim Burton's Batman movie, and it works incredibly well. They only posted clips because any more than that, they would have been like knocked for copyright. All right, let's put a little drip here. A drip here. Kind of feels like there needs to be like a drip here. Not many, just a little touch. He knows how to do spooky. Yeah, he is really good at doing the spooky. Yeah, that looks really good. Now I need to write the word happy. Is that how you spell? I'm pretty sure that's how you spell Splatoween. Yeah, because it's just the word hollow, but the word hall is replaced with splat. Hang on. Alright, so now I need to write the word happy in that same style. So let's go. I'm going to start at the bottom. Kind of like how I did with my signature, is that sometimes instead of starting at the... Yeah, I'm going to need to shorten this up. Rather than start at the beginning and go to the end, I'm going to go to the end and go towards the beginning. That way I'll have enough space for everything, and I'll know if I'm running out, then I can kind of just redo it. It's not nearly as painful to edit from the end. Alright, so this needs to be super teeny tiny. Alright, yeah, that works. Thicken this up. Remove all that. Little tiny drip here. And then I'm going to separate. Alright, there we go. I can also kind of cheat and like put letters into one another. Let's get that line to look right, and then there we go. Thicken this up. Dude, it doesn't really look much of a P right now, but if I bring this in, then do this, carve out what I don't need, all of a sudden it kind of resembles a P. But a little drip there. Oh, hang on. Very teeny tiny font. I need to remember that because I have room for... hang on. If I thicken this downward, like 1 pixel... might have enough room in the end. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to everything. Kind of have the same effect here. There's that, and then H. Nope. H goes up here. And then the A. Yeah, this will work. This will work. A nice wide A, just for, you know, difference's sake. Except I really screwed that up. Wow. Okay. Alright, just going through, and as soon as I'm done with this, I think this is going to be just a complete picture. Once I get that done, let me just put a little drip. Nah, I don't think this A should have any drip. How horrifying for me to say. Oh, easy, easy. Alright. Make sure this looks correct when I... Actually, the middle of this H needs to be a teeny tiny touch lower. Like right about here. And then we'll do this. How about I put a little bit of a drip here. Bit of a drip here. Thicken this up a little bit. And like put a drip. I don't like the drip on the A. I just don't. Alright. I'm not happy with this A. It's like the one thing I would change is this A. Not quite happy with it. So what if it's like too short? So I'm going to shrink this P down by a little touch. Like I said, not everyone really cares about the perfectionism. I'm not like every people. Alright, so then if I take this, made it narrower. It's all about getting it to be close. I don't like that. I didn't really like the way that flat A looked, so I'm going to do this. What I might have to do is actually shrink the second P as well, because it looks like there's just enough room for everything. But it's going to be like a bit of a pain to get it all in there. Yeah, I'm going to have to... It's like putting 2 P's in a pod. Alright, let me use a big eraser. Like, it's almost done. It is so close to being done. Is that A too tall? I think the A is a little too tall here. Let me just do that. It's all about getting it, almost everything done. And I've been going at this for almost 2 hours. That is how long it took me about an hour to sketch everything out and 2 hours to get all the details in. So, I hope everyone's been enjoying just watching this and having all sorts of fun, but it's so close to being done. I just got to get this to be really close to good. Go. Make sure this looks like a B. Let me just get rid of that. Thinking it over here. Little drip. Oh, it's so close. It is so close to being done. I can actually also cheat by putting the tip of this P into the Y. So then from here to here. Oh, not that large. That looks better. Thicken that up. Gotta remember which one does the black and which one does the white. Alright, that doesn't really look like a P there. So I'm going to... I mean, it kind of does, but... Let's get this to look a little straighter. Just did that. Knowing where to put where lines, because right now I'm thinking, like, if this P is at an angle, I also don't want it to look too much like an other letter. Let me just zoom out. It needs to be, this needs to be like a straight flat line here. There's like next to no doubt about that. It needs to be like a nice straight flat line, but doing that, giving a little drip there. Alright. I don't want to put any drip on this side because then it starts looking like an R. But maybe just a little drip. That looks really good. Let me just put another pixel there. Oh, this looks excellent. Oh, yeah. I think... Let me just throw another little line thing here. Make this seem like it's a real sketchy look, almost. This is a really good looking picture. It's probably the best one I've done so far. I mean, considering that there's only like 3 or 4 that I've ever done. Alright. Yeah, I think that is going to be just about... Let me just add a little extra here, just so that way it's clearer to see, right? Happy Splatoween. I'm happy with this. So the final part is to post it. If I push the plus button, it takes a picture, and then I can do this and post it directly to my Twitter. I can also like post on my Facebook, but y'all ain't getting my Facebook. So now I can also type in a message here. Okay, I need... Oh, come on. Where is it? Oh, there it is. All right, here's Johnny. That's all caps. And, oh, it's over here. All right, accept. Okay. Post to Twitter. Boom. Check via PC or smart device. Waiting. All right, there we go. That has been 2 hours of a very rough art tutorial. Now, if you're expecting me to find my artwork out here in the wild, sadly, I can't actually show you it out here in the wild. It will only appear in other people's plaza posts, in other people's plazas. It will never appear in mine unless I go offline. So, yeah, that's going to be it for the art tutorial. If you're watching this VOD on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed, you know, that 2 hour, well, not even 2 hours, but it's close. That wonderful ASMR of getting that done. Hope you learned something. I might be back in the future with more art tutorials. I'm thinking like the next one would be like the difference between octolings and inklings, because there are some fairly significant differences between the two. And until next time, YouTube, take care.